Yo, it's me, Captain Gold, and this is the gold standard comprehensive base basics guide for Project Zomboid. In this video, I'll be teaching you the very fundamentals of selecting a base location, fortifying said base, and installing some useful utilities for your headquarters. By the end of this guide, you'll be better than Bob the Builder himself. Also, if you haven't yet, check out my channel for more useful beginner guides for Project Zomboid. That being said, let's get the ball rolling on this beginner guide. Instead of just showing you how to build a base and which locations are good for bases and safe houses, I will be teaching you how to think critically about choosing your ideal base location. Just like survivor builds and combat, bases very much reflect the playstyle of the player in question. What constitutes as a good base for one person might make for a poor base for another. As such, we need to make some strategic assessments before selecting the appropriate base for our specific needs and goals. Speaking of goals, the very first thing you need to assess is your own personal goals. Do you want to survive long the boring way out in the middle of the wilderness, or do you want an exciting experience? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Are you planning on living the life of a nomad and as such only need bare bones safe houses? Once you figure out your goals, then you can go on to look for appropriate base and safe house locations. You'll want to consider whether there is a water source nearby, whether there's a forest close to the base's proximity to loot, the immediate Zed population around the base location, and the base's pre-existing defenses. A premium base will have woods and water access nearby, low Zed population, and close proximity to loot with excellent pre-existing defenses, like perimeter fences or walls and multiple stories. But a base doesn't need to be premium for it to be good or even great. So please don't lose yourself trying to find the perfect base. That being said, you can look for suitable base locations on the official Project Zomboid map website. This tool literally lets you look inside buildings, so you'll have all of the information you need in order to construct a solid plan for your next playthrough. So instead of giving you all some locations, I'm going to encourage you to do your own homework by visiting that website. Also, here is a Zed population density map. Feel free to view this whenever you need to. When setting up your base, you'll want to implement the concept of defense in depth. This concept is merely the implementation of multiple layers of defense. So imagine you have a structure that serves as your primary headquarters. Your first line of defense should be patrols and/or line of sight. The first physical line of defense ought to be a perimeter wall of some sort. This can be a player-constructed wall, a pre-existing wall or fence, and/or environmental defenses like a body of water or a thick patch of trees. The perimeter wall isn't just to keep Zeds out. Its primary purpose is to keep them from seeing and hearing you. Metal walls are the strongest, max carpentry wood walls are the second best, log walls are third best, and low-level carpentry wood walls are the worst in terms of durability. If there is a gate on your perimeter wall, it ought to be an airlock-styled gate. You can also place broken glass on the exterior of the wall in order to better hear the footsteps of Zeds. The second line of defense can be a secondary wall or the very structure itself. The building that will serve as your base should have few points of entry and at least one well-crafted escape route. Windows and unused doors should be barricaded. Metal bars are the best barricades as they have the same hit points as a metal sheet while also allowing you to see through them. Simply add some sheets and you can now choose to cut or open line of sight from within your base. And since these barricades should be within your perimeter wall, you can afford to barricade both the inside and outside of your doors and windows. Bookshelves, fridges, and dumpsters also make for good barricades. Hell, dumpsters even make for decent walls as well. But I digress. Now, if you feel like playing like a total bitch, you can always use cars to block windows. Zeds can't demolish them, so parking a car outside the window essentially plugs that hole forever. And yes, cars do make for a good perimeter wall as well. Be that as it may, if you want to be extra, you can also make each entry point into an airlock-styled entrance point. Now, if you have a second story, you can set up your living quarters right there. Get yourself a sledgehammer and break the stairs. After you set up some sheetrope, of course. Now you can sleep sound knowing no walker can ever get to you in a worst case scenario. Keep in mind, however, that Zeeks can pull down sheet ropes, so always have some spare sheet ropes stored in your second story. Such a setup, of course, would constitute the third and final layer of your physical defenses. With all of that said, now hopefully you understand the concept of defense in depth. Good bases don't just have good defenses, but they also have excellent quality of life amenities. If you have level 3 in the electronics skill, you can hook up your base with electric ovens. No more wood or propane needed to start a fire for cooking. You can also move washing machines, dryers, and washer-dryer combos into your base. Washing machines are far more efficient with their use of water than manual washing, and you can use them to clean clothes while you're performing other tasks. Obviously, you need fridges, which can be moved with no skills in electronics. But most importantly, you need to power these pieces of furniture. Hence, you'll need a generator. Never place one indoors where you sleep. It'll fucking kill you. These bad boys make noise, so place them in the center of your base or build a small wall around them. Generators power everything within a 20-tile radius, and they also power everything within that radius 2 stories above and 2 stories below. If you want to keep warm during the winter, you'll want an antique stove. If you want fresh, potable water without having to boil it, simply build some rain catchers above a sink. Get a pipe wrench and right-click the sink. Just like that, you can plumb the sink. Sinks themselves can be moved and installed by using a wrench. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention this very important fact. Washing machines must also be plumbed before you can use them. That said, take advantage of rooftop access. It's the safest place to plant a farm, along with also being needed for water collection and plumbing. Anyways, that concludes this gold standard guide to Zomboid base basics. If you like this sort of content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to smash that notification icon so that you can be notified when I publish a new video. And please leave a comment as well, especially if you have any tips and tactics. I'm Captain Gold, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye!